welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a bit different from the usual. So instead of one project or a combination of smaller jobs, I'm taking you through a compilation covering all of my 3 hoop houses. How they came to be, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and one particular weird problem involving seagulls. Yes, seagulls. But more of that in just a minute. So let's start at the very beginning. My first hoop house went up back in 2024, and quite honestly there wasn't much to it. I simply put a couple of hoops over an existing raised bed, so that was job done, nothing fancy. Now the next 2 were a very different story. Now these had to be designed and built completely from scratch, so I decided to film the whole process from start to finish. And I'm really glad that I did, because that build video went on to become my most viewed video on this entire channel, and it's generated more questions from you than anything else I've posted. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll also put a link in the comments section. Today I'm excited to take you along as I assemble my 3rd hoop house. Now, since this will be my final one, I was very keen to share my step-by-step process with you and show how I've personalised it to fit onto my allotment. Now, all the measurements I will be quoting in this video today are all personal to me, and they fit my bed on my allotment. So if you're looking to do your own hoop house, just bear that in mind. However, the process is the same. Whatever your measurements are, the process of assembling and fitting the hoop house are exactly the same. So when I started my Kev's Seaside Garden and Allotment YouTube channel, I never intended for it to be a how-to or a DIY channel. I was never one of those people that would stand in front of the camera with 20 packets of seeds and say, you must plant these in February, or these are the ones that I recommend. I thought of it more of a, well, this is what I do channel. So I'll be sharing what I love and what works for me. So let's dive into today's project and see how it's done. Or better still, this is how I do it. and I've just taken out the lamb's lettuce from the tray, and again, because the seeds, I mean the root system isn't quite I mean, it's fairly well established there, but it's not completely filling the pot. They are a little bit tricky to sort of get out, and as you can see there, the soil tends to just fall away a little bit, so you have to be very careful. But they've all developed a fairly reasonable root system, which will help them on the way. Spacing, because I've got the space. 4 across here. So, lamb's lettuce, in you go. This is the first hoop house that I built, and I planted out some radicchio, some mizuna and some spring cabbage. Although the spring cabbage seems to have been quite nibbled quite a bit. The radicchio is still looking good. The mizuna is looking very good, so I'll start to pick a few leaves off that one. And over in the other part of the I've got some loose leaves still coming, and over on the other side I've got the endive. It's looking a little bit tired in places, but once the heart of the lettuce starts to come through and get a little bit bigger, I'll start to pick out some of the leaves right from the centre and leave some of the bigger older leaves from the outside. They tend to get a little bit bitter, but the ones right in the centre will be fine. I've also had a very good crop of peppers. I don't think I've grown quite so many peppers as this, but these ones here in this hoop house, what I did was I started those off as small plants underneath the polythene, and we have some very strange seagulls over here in Weymouth, and what they tend to do is to sit on top of the polythene hoop house and just peck away and put little holes into the top of the hoop house. So why do seagulls peck through your polythene on your greenhouse and your hoop house? Well, there are two theories really. The first one is that seagulls may see insects or spiders or flies inside the hoop house, and they're pecking away to try and get at them for an easy meal. And the second theory is that they may see a reflection of themselves in the hoop house, and they just peck away trying to ward off any competition. Either way, I know that seagulls are not the smartest birds knocking around, but we do have quite a few problems with them here on this particular allotment. Over in the corner, one of my neighbours has a larger greenhouse, and I've seen anything up to 4 or 5 seagulls just sitting on top of his greenhouse, just pecking away for ages and ages and ages. And you can go and scare them off, but they just come back again, and they're a real nuisance. So that's why I've taken the polythene off this hoop house and that one there. The one at the bottom, the one down the bottom of the garden, is not too bad, and I've noticed that is it's an opaque one with cotton running through it, so perhaps that doesn't give quite the reflection. And at the moment I don't have anything in that hoop house, so there probably isn't any insects for them to try and get at. So what I'm going to have to do with this one is re-polythene it, and then try and put some sort of protection over the top of the hoop house to stop the seagulls. Anyway, It's just one of the hazards of living by the seaside, I'm afraid. Right, what I've decided as well is to have a hoop house rethink. So this one here, I'm going to take off the polythene, and when the onions are finished, what I might do with that is to actually install some mesh. Now I do have some very fine mesh which I also use to keep off flies and the smaller insects. I do use netting if I want to keep the butterflies off. Now the good thing about the mesh is it provides a little bit of shade, it provides a little bit of protection from the frost, and the other good thing is when it rains, the rain can actually go through the mesh as well. So that's that hoop house with all the polythene taken off and all the support sides being taken off as well. Now the first thing I'm doing is I'm tacking the mesh right over the hoop and then just pulling it a little bit tight, just so that I can get the excess cut off, and then I can start to stretch it over the sides. Right, that's one of the two hoop houses completely meshed. As you can see, the mesh is quite fine. The sun can get through it. The butterflies and the wasps and all that sort of thing, they can't get through it. And the other good thing is that you can actually water through it as well. So I'm really pleased with that. So that's one down and one more to go.